Good morning, students. Welcome to all four e-learning classes. Okay, we are continuing with Unit 1, Introduction to Economics. So today we are going to conclude the first unit. So before that, I want to recap. In the last session or in the last period, we were discussing about scope of microeconomics and macroeconomics. We have seen the characteristics of micro and macro in detail, and the importance of microeconomics and macroeconomics, and the topics which are covered under microeconomics and macroeconomics. We have seen very clearly yesterday. We had a detailed discussion about that. Today we are going to discuss the differences. I told you in the yesterday session that, or in the previous class, that actually micro turns to macro, macro turns to micro. When you see the things in larger quantities, it is macro. If you divide anything out of that large discussion or large quantity, when you make it individual, then immediately it will become micro. I told you, no, we have around 15 campuses. Totally we got around 15 campuses. Out of 15 campuses, if you take one campus, see, it becomes micro, because 15 campuses are macro. One campus is micro. See, individual. Next, we will see. Within that campus, if you take any one subject, like we have MPC, BIPC, MEC, CEC. Not only that, we have some other different divisions within the MPC. Again, MSET, Mains, Advanced, and only MPC. See, if you go on dividing the things are becoming smaller. So, out of total campus, one MPC is micro. Out of total MPC, if you select one, that is again micro. That is, let us say MSET is micro. Within MSET, if you select one student, it is again micro. And total of his marks and one subject marks, total of his marks macro, one subject marks micro. So see, as you go on dividing, it becomes micro. But when you compare one subject marks and all the marks, see, all the marks are macro, subject marks is micro. And the same, all marks are with total class students, one individual total marks and the total students marks. Again, this become micro. So in this way, micro sometimes turns to macro, macro sometimes turns to micro. Total national income is actually macro, because this country is total national income. But when you make a comparison with world economy, then national income becomes micro and world economy becomes macro. So in that way, micro, macro, for our understanding, we divided them into two, but they are depending on each other. But still, for the discussion or to see the things in different light, we are going to discuss the differences in between micro and macroeconomics. Microeconomics always discusses about smaller things. As it is, I told you in the last session, this micro word is derived from Greek. The word is macro, that is K, macro. So it means small. And I told you, micro means 1/1,000,000th of a part. You take anything and divide it into 10 lakhs, that is 1 million. That one part is micro, small. Whereas macro, it discusses all totals and aggregates in larger quantities. So macro discusses about of large quantities. This is the first difference. If you remember one side, you can remember the second side easily. Second point is, microeconomics always discusses about individual units, individual industries, individual economies, individual persons, individual employees, everything individual. One person's income, one person's expenditure, one person's investments, one person's savings, one person's returns for his efforts, everything individual, one thing at a time. Whereas macroeconomics discusses total economy as a whole, not one industry, but all the industries put together. Not one person's wage, all the labor's total wage, means in aggregations or in totals, as an economy in a whole or in a total. So economy as a whole we will discuss here. Okay, next, third is, I told you, product pricing and factor pricing is particularly discussed under microeconomics. We have seen the particular scope of economics yesterday. In the scope of economics, first 2 points we discuss. One is product pricing, second is factor pricing. So product pricing depends on demand and cost. Factor cost depends upon rent, wage, interest and profit. So all the time microeconomics is discussing about prices, prices of factors, prices of products, how these prices are going to be decided, how these prices are going to depend. All those discussions comes under price theory. That's why microeconomics is also called as price theory. So don't get confused. In any test session, if they ask what is the other name of microeconomics, you should remember it is price theory, because it always discusses about the prices of products as well as factors. Next we will see macroeconomics. That is, it talks or it discusses or its scope covers total of employment of the economy and income of the total public, not individual but total 4 factors. Whenever we are discussing in macroeconomics, it is all in total. All the factors of production's income and the total employment in the economy. That's why it is called as income and employment theory. Income and employment theory. Okay, next we will see microeconomics discusses about price of commodities and factors. Just now I told you the first 2 topics of the scope of economy: prices of products as well as prices of factors of production. Now again, what are the factors of production? Land, labor, capital and organization. What they get in return? Land gets rent, labor gets wage, capital gets interest and organizer gets profit. So that's going to discuss under microeconomics. Whereas under macroeconomics, it discusses about national income in total national income, value of all commodities which are produced in a particular period of time, that is in a year. How many commodities, all their values put together becomes national income, means a larger quantity. Statistical organization generally do this work. Next, total employment, not individual employment, total employment, total savings of the country, total investments on the business and inflation price levels, total price level, whether it is increasing or decreasing. If it increases, we will call it inflation. These are all bigger, larger amounts. Okay, next we will see price mechanism. At this particular point, we have to see how the prices are fixed. What influences the price? Price influences the demand and supply, and at the same time, demand and supply influences the price. This price mechanism influences demand and supply. Demand and supply influences this price. They have a direct and indirect relations, inverse relations. Price have a direct relation with supply, whereas price have a inverse relation with demand. Those topics we will discuss in detail in our 3rd chapter. Okay, now Macroeconomics discuss about of aggregate demand, total demand of the country. How much is the demand of the total population is comes under aggregate demand. Here you need to understand what is total, what is aggregate. Total is total, put together. Aggregate is within that a particular commodity's total demand. Particular commodity's total demand, like cement. Cement demand for the total industry, that is aggregate, same type of commodity. Jewelry, total demand for jewelry, aggregate demand for jewelry. And aggregate supply of cement, aggregate supply of jewelry, aggregate supply of cells, that is your mobiles. So that all comes under macro because it's a large quantity. Now we will see partial equilibrium, because it takes only one thing at a time and it discusses the equilibrium of price individually, not all the commodities at a time, only partial, one commodity or one industry, one thing at a time. This goes with general equilibrium, how the demand and supply are going to balance the total economy, general equilibrium. And the last one is, this is a static analysis, because every time whenever we discuss about the demand, supply, price, whatever we discuss under the microeconomics, we always say ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus, it is a maxim, Latin maxim. It means when all other things remaining constant, there is no change in other things but only price increased, then what happens to demand? It decreases. All other things remaining constant, price increase, demand decrease. All other things remaining constant, that is, see, static, all other things are static. Price decrease, demand increase. So that is static analysis, whereas macroeconomics is general analysis. We can call it dynamic analysis. What is happening in a long period of time? How the price is going to affect the commodities in a long period of time. So we will discuss past to present, present to future. So it is a dynamic analysis or general analysis. Clear? These are the differences between micro and macroeconomics, and this is a very important topic to understand for both the purposes, one for the knowledge and another for what? Marks in the exam. That is not only unit test, not only daily test, even in the final exam there are plenty of chances that you will see this question answer for 5 marks. Okay, so we need to understand that differences between micro and macroeconomics is, micro is a discussion of small, macro is large. Micro discusses individuals, and macroeconomics all the economy as a whole. Microeconomics is also called as price theory. Macroeconomics is income and employment theory. Microeconomics discusses about the prices of commodities as well as factors. And macroeconomics, national income, total employment, total savings, total investment, and price levels, that is inflation, increasing or decreasing. Next, microeconomics, price mechanism related with demand and supply. Here it discusses aggregate demands and supplies. Partial equilibrium, one thing at a time. And here general equilibrium, all things calculated at a time. Static, all other things remaining constant. Only one thing we will discuss, static analysis. General or dynamic analysis, discussing everything at a time. Now we will see the next topic, that is utility. Now first we will see what is meant by utility. Utility means the usefulness of any commodity is called as utility, or want satisfaction power in any commodity can be called as utility. See, this got a utility, that's why I am holding it. This got a utility, that's why I am putting it to my collar. This got a utility, that's why I am putting it in my pocket. This got a utility, means want satisfying power. Whenever I want to read, I use them. See, it got a utility. So this want satisfying power in the commodity is simply called as utility. So in general, the raw material may not be having any utility. So in the production process, what we do is we add utility to that raw material. That's why what we said, production means adding utility to the raw material in form, place, time and service is called as production. So in the process of production, we add these 4 utilities to the or any one of them. 4 or any one of them. Adding to the raw material is simply called as production. Because whatever you are using today, your mobile, fan, electricity, food, everything, pizza, burger, whatever you are using, your dress, it got a utility. That utility will not come just like that. For that we need to understand here. Okay, first thing, let us see raw material. Let us say iron ore. Iron ore, that is a raw material to manufacture the final commodity of iron and steel. That R is silent, iron. So here let us see that raw material, you cannot use it as it is, but when it is being added with form utility, means shape utility, you have to melt it in the blast furnaces and you have to get the metal out of it and it has to be turned into a shape. Then it becomes the fan, the chair, table, anything. So we are adding form utility to the raw material of iron ore. We are adding utility, then it can satisfy our want. That satisfying power in the commodity is called as utility. Again, let me repeat. Want satisfying power in any commodity is called as utility. So we are using the commodities means those commodities have some utility. Clear? So we add the form utility to the raw material and automatically it will be in a position to satisfy our wants. Next is place utility. You need to move the commodities from one place to another place. Then only sometimes it gets the utility. Like see, vegetables are grown in the farm. It does not mean you have to go and purchase those commodities there. Is it possible to your father, your mother, daily morning going on a bike or a car to the agricultural farm and purchasing them and carrying them up to home? It's not possible. So what the farmer is doing, he is carrying those vegetables from his farm to vegetable market. So in that way he is adding place utility to those vegetables. So vegetables are added with place utility. Okay, next one is time utility. How this time utility? For plenty of commodities, they have a time of utilization. Like your Diwali crackers. They manufacture those crackers all over the year. But when do you use them? Particularly on Deepavali time or in the marriages time. And of course, sometimes when we win the cricket, then again blasting the crackers. See, whenever you are happy, you want to show that happiness in blasting the crackers. You got it? But they are not going to be manufactured that day itself. They are prepared, produced and stored, and at a particular time they will be sold. So they are adding the time utility to those all things. One thing is form utility. They have to be gathered at one place and modified into the crackers. One thing, form utility. Then they have to be carried from Shivakashi, that is Tamil Nadu, up to there to Karimnagar, place utility. And Deepavali time we are going to use them, time utility. You got it? Now we will go to the last one, service utility. Service utility means what I am giving you is the service utility. I am adding service utility to economics. What a doctor do? He also gives you the services. What your teachers did till 10th class, giving you the service utility. So this is the fourth one. In this way, we add utility to the raw materials. Is it clear? Now let us go to the different concepts like value. Value means it is a way of giving respect or giving some exchange to the commodities. This value is in simple divided into two parts: value in use, value in exchange, or whatever you are ready to exchange for the commodity can be called as value. If you want to give something for a particular commodity, that is a value to that commodity. Okay, it may be in money or in exchange of commodities, that is barter system. Now we will see value in use. Some commodities have value in use, like breathing air, all free goods have value in use. Water, value in use. Sunlight, value in use. But they do not have any value in exchange. Some commodities doesn't have value in use, but they have value in exchange. Just see, you take currency, 1000 rupees, 2000 rupees. Nowadays there is no 1000 rupees, 2000 rupees, 500 rupees, etc., etc. You put all of them in a room, and you put a person into that room and close all the doors. No water, no food, nothing. Is he going to use that money in any way? That is just useless. But they have a lot of value in exchange. If you move that same money and the man outside that room and give a chance to spend, he is going to use that money in exchange, and he get a lot of useful commodities. So commodities have two types of values: value in use, value in exchange. Some commodities have both value in use as well as value in exchange. My pen, it has a value in use, I can write. It has a value in exchange. 5 rupees I paid and I took it. See, 5 rupees is the exchange value, writing is the useful value. So some commodities have both value in use, value in exchange. Some commodities have only one, any one of them. Okay, now let us go to the price. Price means whatever you exchange monetarily, the money which you exchange for a commodity is called as price. Already I told you, price and cost are different concepts. Price is what a consumer pays to have, is called as price. I paid 5 rupees in exchange to this pen, so 5 rupees is the price of this commodity. Okay, cost is which is spent by the producer to manufacture this pen. Maybe it is 3 rupees or 2 rupees or 1 rupee or 4 rupees, we don't know. But whatever being spent by the producer on this commodity is cost. Whatever I paid to have it, 5 rupees, is price. Next, welfare. Welfare is generally discussed as like a standard of living, comfortable life, having happier life, healthy life. All the basic necessities have been fulfilled. That can be called as welfare, which is being given by more importance by A.C. Pigot, and his guru is Alfred Marshall. Do you remember the second definition? Alfred Marshall, welfare definition. So that is, a person's standard of living can be measured under this welfare. And A.C. Pigot says money is the measuring rod of welfare. How? See, if more people, the total society, individuals or society, is preferring a commodity more, means its price starts increasing. You are ready to pay more price, individuals or society, ready to pay more price means what? More demand. More demand means it is attributing, or it is giving more satisfaction to more people, individual as well as society. If everyone is demanding, means it is causing lot of welfare to a lot of people. That's why according to ACPGO, money is the measuring rod of welfare. Okay, with this we concluded value, price, welfare. Now we will go to the very important topic for knowledge as well as for the marks, that is wants. Day to day, what happens with us early in the morning as you wake up? The first want is brushing the teeth. From there your want starts till you get into bed and sleep. Even at that time also, you want your fan running or AC running. You want a cushion which will give you more comfort, a bed, and a glass full of water beside your bed. See, everything is a want. Morning to evening, cradle to till the death. As you took birth, you started crying. You are not actually crying for the sake of crying. You want to say that I am here, watch me, I am feeling uncomfortable with this weather, this environment is not good, please see and support me. That is your language at the time. Crying is not for the sake of crying, just like that. Even now also you do the same thing. You start crying in the presence of your mama, not papa in general. Okay, if you are a girl, female, then you will start crying in the presence of papa. But boys, they never do cry in the presence of papa. Only they will make a drama in front of mother to satisfy their wants, to get done with their wants. So morning to evening, these wants are unlimited. If you start writing the wants, a day is not enough. Those many wants we have in our mind. Okay, so that's why wants are unlimited. This is the first side heading. Unlimited wants, uncalculatable in number. So that's why wants first characteristic is unlimited wants. These are the features or characteristics of wants. This is for two purposes you have to read. One is for knowledge and the for marks. They will get you 5 marks in daily test 2, final IPE exams. It will get you 5 marks. That is for examination purpose. This is for knowledge purpose. How this knowledge is going to be useful? Actually, when you become a marketing man, a manager, a person of world, then you should know what are the characteristics of wants. Because if you satisfy these wants of the people, then only they will give you respect. That's why you should know the characteristics of wants. The first character is unlimited wants. Next is a particular want is satiable. Means only a particular want is possible to satisfy. A particular want is possible, can be possible to satisfy. Not all the wants at a time. Okay, that is comes under a particular want is satiable. Competition. Yeah, wants have their own competition. Everyone wants, everyone asks, satisfy me, me first. But we have our own knowledge. We have our preferences. That is called scale of preference. Like it is exams time. You want a textbook or a guide or a study material to purchase with 100 rupees. And you have only 100 rupees note in your pocket. And you want to watch a movie in the multiplex. At the same time, you want to eat some fruits like kiwi, 4 or 5 kiwis. Each kiwi is around 30 rupees. See, these are all the wants, but you can satisfy any one of them. Here, scale of preference. It is exams time, so your scale of preference says first go for the notes. You can satisfy other wants later. You can see the movie later. You can eat the kiwi later. But now you have to satisfy your want of purchasing the book. See, scale of preference. That is, too many wants cannot be satisfied at a time. One particular want is possible to satisfy. We, out of this competition of wants, we have a scale of preference and we prefer the top one first. Any doubt? Hope, no doubt. Okay, next we will see Wants are complementary. You cannot satisfy one want with only one commodity. You need variety of commodity to satisfy one want. If you want a cup of tea, a cup, a saucer, or not. Water, tea powder, milk, sugar, gas stove, a kettle or a funnel. See, there is no ending. When you put all these together, then you will get a cup of tea. What we see is cup of tea, but we don't observe all those things which helped us to have a cup of tea. And we forgotten biggest resource for the satisfaction of this want. Mama, your mummy put together and she given you the service. Then you got the satisfaction of your want of having a cup of tea. That is, all those commodities which helped to have a cup of tea is called as complementary commodities or complementary goods. If you don't have any one of them, you don't have that perfect tea which satisfies your want. Got the exact point? So competition. Next, substitution. Yeah, one want can be substituted or satisfied with substitute commodities. You wanted to have something hot early in the morning. See, tea, coffee, Bonavita, Horlicks, and number. Boost. Boost is the secret of my energy. Why? Sachin Tendulkar's. Do you think he drinks only Boost? If he won't get the Boost, then what do you do? Milk or Horlicks, something else, Bonavita or a coffee. See, a want can be satisfied by substitute commodities. You are starving, hungry. You don't have the chapati, then you will eat rice. If you don't have the rice and chapati, you will go for the fruits or something else. If you don't find the pizza, then you go for the burger. Somehow you are satisfying your want. For that you are using different commodities. Those are all substituting your want satisfaction. Next one is reoccurring. Some wants reoccurs, happens again and again. That is reoccurring. Morning you took the water, afternoon again. Morning you took the breakfast, afternoon lunch, night supper. See, wants are going on, happening again and again. That is reoccurring, recurring wants. Habits. If you go on practicing the same want, after some years it will become a habit. Sometimes your aunts, your mama makes a complaint. Oh, I didn't have my cup of tea. I am suffering with headache. You heard it, no? See, that want turned to habit. Now you cannot go without that particular commodity. Then it will be called as habit. Some people have undesirable habits like alcoholism, smoking, etc. Undesirable. Okay, tea is not going to make any harm. Next, wants vary with time to time, place to place, person to person. Yeah, they are dynamic. They are not same to everyone. Your want is different from my want. Yeah, exactly. You want the time to see the TV. I want the time to do some hard work. See, everyone's preferences are different. So, wants always vary from time to time. Morning, whatever is your want may not be the same in the evening. Changes from time to time. Place to place. Here, now at this moment, we are wearing simple cotton cloths. But in the Kashmir, they have to wear different cloths. Wants changes place to place. And person to person. Being a kid, okay, you are not a kid anymore. Being a inter first year student, your want is different as a person. And being a lecturer, my want is different as an elder. Okay, so wants also change, vary from time to time, place to place, person to person. Next, wants are three categories: necessities, comforts, and luxuries. What are necessities? You cannot live without them is necessity. For an example, food, cloth, shelter. These used to be the old necessities. Nowadays necessities: education and health. Without these 5 you cannot survive. What are comforts higher than this? Like a cycle, a fan, a table, a bench. These are all comforts. Then what are luxuries? Air conditioner, car, and sofa set. These are all luxuries. From person to person they also varies. Okay, with this we can conclude this first chapter, Introduction to Economics. Okay.